man. Man, no, we good. We'll be all right. Damn, these people hard headed. Let me see. Somebody check the feed. Somebody check the feed. Is it? Let me see the screen.
Looks like that is.
It stay that way.
Let me see. You just turned it off. Okay, we good now. Wait.
It rotated.
It went up, right?
Yeah, it did something to where I rotated right.
Oh, that's because I had turned it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be straight like that. I mean, shoot. It's all good.
That bit do got a little kind of slim little head.
Yeah, because I'm like, if they showing stuff on the screen over that way, we probably got to put this mug back there.
I just put a test of feed to it, man.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect right there. Yes, sir.
All right.
We rolling, huh?
Hey, shalom, shalom. We'll start off by giving all praises
Unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH.
I want to say double honor to our apostles, to our elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and doing truth, sincerity. This is yeah, man, it's gonna be like an open forum, but based on a particular subject and relationship to this video. We'll try to let the video, this for educational purposes, fair use under the Fair Use Act. That's the only reason why we're using it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we're just gonna be, doing our commentary on it. So, it's a little short video, but a lot's gonna be said, especially when you're dealing with Egyptian against Egyptian, how it's divided, you got the politics, and Esau's he's wearied in his sorceries, man. So yeah, man, the brothers got some precepts we could the ones I mentioned we could bring out and we'll get started.
And this is this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47 and verse 12. It says, "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth."
And it's like the wires are crossing, because you got a stronghold on your Christian nationalism through that situation that happened with that podcast guy, and that game, y'all use that to push, and then, claiming Trump as Alexander, even Jesus, and they said it in this video, same thing. They're going to actually show the proof of it, which is why I think it'd be good for us to show the video, but how Esau is, so again, fair use, yeah, man, so we'll play it, we'll let it run. You got, is there any more to that?
Oh, yeah, just a little bit. It says, "If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so thou mayest prevail."
Yeah, which, we know how that's going to end. You go ahead, brother.
Yeah, it should be 13 with that too.
13, okay, I can read 13. It says, "Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee."
Yeah, so the Lord is saying that, these astrologers, and the thing is that, I did a lesson, and matter of fact, we'll just bring it out. Can you look up the importance of a jester?
The lesson in particular?
No, this is a word, internet search, the importance of a jester to a king or something like that.
It says a jester was important to a king for entertaining the court, but also as a trusted and often the only person who could offer candid, critical advice under the guise of comedy. Their role as a respected member of the court allowed them to use sharp wit and satire to critique political figures and decisions without fear of immediate punishment, acting as a unique advisor and a release valve for the king's frustration.
Yeah, that's a different one that they show you, but the gesture also has an importance to create a satire, and that's what a lot of these guys do. And those satires are crossing paths because you got the satire of Christian nationalism, then you got the satire of Make America Great Again, and then now you're crossing it with technology. And you know, a lot of these people that are involved in these atmospheres have different points of views. So it's hard for them to really push heavy on either one. That Christian nationalism, you gotta, because once you put so heavy on it, you're gonna cut a lot of people off. You know, because you got, you know, there's a certain structure to it, but you be having people that's the alphabet community working for you. You know, and especially we trying to go tech, a lot of you go in tech, you gonna get a lot of little quirky, weird, you know. But you go ahead.
Come on, but it's more to that.
No,
Okay,
no.
this is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. It says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother." And
Yeah, because this is a very another important point is that through all this within this video is that you know, they're coming against each other. The wires are crossing. You got people that's really trying to figure it out, and then you got them seeing them. You got people struggling. They're cutting the EBT off. You know, they're cutting the SNAP off, and then you see them giving 20 billion. You know, to was it Argentina? Can we get that real quick? You know, they just sort of bring up the article. That's what Esau does. You know what I'm saying? But the bread and circuses, which is the people that's playing these court gestures, is not working no more. You know what I'm saying? So your Glenn Becks, your Charleston Whites, you know, it'll pull people every once in a while, but they got to get back to real life, because that's the reality. But that's how you do capitalism, is you make people have a involvement, so you can subscribe to something. It makes it feel like you're involved in making a change, but really all you're doing is arguing about the same shit. So it give you a place to kind of release, you know. And that's what them gestures are for. They're there for a release valve to make light of it on either side. But they're still getting paid. You wonder that a person like Charleston White could be on TV for so long saying the things. He's getting paid because they could stop him. They can get on him. They could make up something. You know what I'm saying? And make it believable, you know. But they're not going to do nothing like that because he's controlled opposition.
Okay.
You know, a lot of these guys, some of them are willing to do. They played different behind the role, maybe. You know, I'm just speculating. Because some of them just be corny, man. What's your guy named Jake Paul? You know, like you can tell easily he's just willing to do anything. You know.
Yeah.
He'll fight somebody half his size and act like it's normal, you know. But
did you want anything in particular, or
nah, just a proof of an article,
okay,
a credible one. Because I mean, I read it before. I just wanted to bring one up, just to.
I had some here on the Argentina situation from PBS.org. It says why Trump is giving Argentina a $20 billion lifeline to help its flailing economy. It says The Trump administration authorized a $20 billion financial lifeline for Argentina as it faces an economic crisis. The deal has raised major questions and criticism about its merits. President Trump also said it's contingent on Argentine President Milei's party winning elections later this month. John Yang discussed more with Monica de Bolle of the Peterson Institute for International Economics. That's about, the gist. You just kind of keep talking about it in different words.
Yeah. Is there any relationship between the oil and Argentina and oil? Because I get them mixed up with Venezuela. One of them got a huge oil deposit.
Argentina's main resource includes fertile agricultural land, significant reserves of oil and natural gas, and various mineral deposits like gold, silver, copper, and lithium.
Yeah.
It says Argentina ranks among the top oil producers in Latin America with the 5th largest crude oil reserves in the region.
Yeah. Yep. So, and where's your guy Menudo from?
Venezuela.
Yeah, it's Venezuela. Yeah. Because Venezuela got oil resources as well, but they got some other stuff as well. Yeah, man.
I know, bro. I wasn't gonna. Hey, I know you thinking. I forgot. I always mess up his name. You gonna find out. Dang, he looked up. Nah. He said Menudo though.
Yeah.
You got me wanting some of that.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell his name either.
Maduro.
Oh, okay.
Nicolas Maduro.
That's how I remember his name, though. Yeah.
Want to get to the vid?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm CJ Wellerman, and in this episode, we reveal why American Christians are suddenly itching for a holy war against the state of Israel. But first, please remember to like and subscribe to our show. Now let's get into it. President Trump might love and fawn over Israel like it was one of his many mistresses, but much to the horror of the Zionist lobby, his most ardent supporters have suddenly taken a hard turn against.
Yeah, so because, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, these politicians, they all fighting for one beast, and that's the whore that sitteth upon the dragon. You know what I'm saying? But even though the America is the whore that sitteth upon the dragon, that's the one that's doing all the works. But the real one that's doing all the controlling is the tribe of Amalek, or the Rothschilds, okay? The ones that are the rich elite families, the banking families. Those are the ones that's really controlling everything. But as far as its main place of utilizing its efforts is going to be America. America has the army. You know what I'm saying? It has the idea, the citizens. Okay, it has everything you need within concept and structure. It's got the most jakes. So it got the most flavor, the most culture popping out this motherfucker. And it's in a big old pot. So Esau, that's the whore that sit upon the dragon, which is Babylon. But ultimately, the Rothschilds and all that are the ones that's turning that's driving the beast in this whole system, man. Okay, you got something, brother?
Con. Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Just to back up what you were saying with, Babylon the Great being America having that influence over the rest of the world, even though, the Amalek is the ones that's pulling the strings, they use America as that face to do a lot of different things.
Yeah, and a lot of people are getting tired because a lot of people are getting affected, especially in the Middle East, by what's happening in real life. And then you telling us you doing all this to tell us a lie. But that lie gets pushed out to them people that's dealing. You know, they sitting there hearing you lie and saying, damn, like, nah. They got people like Vocab, like we was mentioning. Shit, he'll sit here and want to harass Jake, you know, as prophets, man, teaching. But then you'll call, I forget the term he made up for it, a war of attrition or something like that.
A prosecution of war.
Prosecution of war, yeah. A prosecution of war, pretty much a verbal gymnastics to dodge and omit how those people over there are killing Israel. So not killing Israelite, but killing Christians. Okay, but you admit that. You will clearly walk past and say, let me go and deal with these people. And these people are literally getting out there doing that. And they're not claiming and calling on the name of the Lord. They don't believe in the Heavenly Father. All right? But let's get the video.
Against the Jewish state, with the loudest and most prominent voices among the MAGA movement calling on Trump to not only cut US ties with Israel, but also ignite a holy war to save Christians in Palestine and abroad from Zionist terror and influence. These headlines speak to a historic rupture in the American-Israeli alliance, with Republican voters joining their Democratic counterparts in opposing US financial support for the Zionist regime, military, and occupation. Trump even told one of his top Jewish donors in July that his supporters are now starting to hate Israel, a hatred that has grown much louder in subsequent months. MAGA might be a lot of things, but more than anything else, it's a hyper-Christian evangelical movement that sees the world through a binary lens.
See,
Good
so
versus evil.
pretty much, it's just Egyptian against Egyptian in a roundabout way, because they're all under the beast umbrella, you know, and it's causing Israel in the state, as it tells you, the least of the flock shall draw them out. They're doing things to make America have to get up and back them, and people are not saying, see, I told y'all, like, they work for each other, you know? Like, everything that Israel's doing, you know, Trump's in the middle of it. He's making sure the efforts, you got Najik is getting, now the prices are hiking up, and then you're hearing about money going here and there, you know, and it's a lot of things going on, but then there's truth. But that's how Esau tried to hide the truth, is he flood more lies. So you don't know if it's AI, you don't know if it's real, you don't know if it's this or that, and then you know, even if it's real, you know if it's the real angle, and it's just a bunch of stories going out. But then there's a real story, and it could be from a credible or non-credible source. The truth is the truth. If somebody might get a hold of it and it'll come out, and you got to be a part of this truth to understand, you know. But you got more to that?
No.
Yeah, let's finish up.
Versus wrong, Christian versus anyone who stands against their religious faith, with Trump standing as an avatar in their perceived religious war.
Donald Trump is portraying himself as a religious savior. He says Election Day will be Christian Visibility Day.
No,
Trump has repeatedly compared his criminal trials to the crucifixion of Jesus, promoted videos calling his re-election, quote, the most important moment in human history, and that describe him as a divinely appointed ruler.
A shepherd to mankind who won't ever leave nor forsake them.
Yeah, as you can stop
So God,
right there, but I just wanted to get it because this shit funny, dog. Like, they really did it. You know, like they could be picking, but it was up there to pick. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, man. We over here consider him Nero, man. But they portrayed him as Alexander the Great. What was it, Pope? Or somebody considered him Alexander the Great, and somebody considered him Jesus. You know, it's yeah, but Jake can't call themselves Israelites. You better not do that. This man got himself as a statue outside the White House. It's a Bitcoin, and he remodeled it for a ballroom. He's going, yeah.
Crazy.
But we better not be out there teaching on the street corners. You go ahead, brother. That's crazy.
Made Trump.
Right-wing Christians have stood lockstep with Israel for decades, viewing the Jewish state as a noble ally, defending itself and Western civilization from Islamic extremism. A metaphorical Fort Apache surrounded by a continent.
Go to the 1126. At the end of the day, they're gonna just, show you a bunch of videos. Yeah, it go around there, like around a little bit before that. But it's gonna go. It's a real good video in its detail, but we'll be here all day if we really go into the whole video. But the dude's going in, about showing the alliances and how Esau. They start showing their rhetoric, how Esau is pretty much bucking up against Edom, and how they, because Esau going through it. The middle class is going through it. The working class, because the working class has lost its voice and they're the ones that are actually pulling the weight. But the power was given to the social class, the people that are in offices, the people that are in schools. Those are the people that became the voice and the backbone of America, and those people are easily manipulated with ideas, and that's they've been using them, but really the people that's been running Babylon is the working class, your teachers, your factory workers, like a lot of those. I'm talking about the real teachers that be really not the ones that wanted. They just got here and they got the hair and shit. They want. By the time once they really become teachers, they go, "Dad, that blue hair she got the window." You come in there, do Jenny. You know what I'm saying? I got time for this shit. But at the end of the day, man, a stain. I pushed the camera. I made it better. That's crazy.
God.
God love. Yeah, pushing myself like a that. But hey, but that's, we're in that place right now. So we'll get a precept and then we'll just get started at that point.
Okay.
You got something?
Yeah.
Let's get it, brother.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 16, which says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory." And it's like the whole world, but specifically in this video, you have MAGA and these, these Edomites over here in America. But everybody is looking at these small hats and seeing them for who they are and turning against them and pointing the finger at them, and they're no longer able to hide their wicked intentions, their, how their hand is in everything. It's revealed, and the veil has been uncovered,
Yeah, nah, you went in, brother. Yeah, that's right. They're like they can't hide. It's everywhere. The counter news is coming out. That's what we pretty much skipped, is that it's a bunch of Edomites saying, "Oh, y'all did this, y'all did that, y'all did this, y'all did that," and it's all facts, and people are fine because they're patting their pockets like, "Yo, I ain't getting nothing out this deal." At first, it sounded like some humanitarianism shit, but now it's like, hold up, bro, we ain't eating over here. Why are they still getting all that bread? That's our bread. Like, y'all sitting over there talking about, we got to pay this for healthcare now, and they get free healthcare?
Yeah.
And that's through the unicorn that was found out. It's always been happening, but people are doing enough digging, and through the unicorn, there's people popping up, and you can't keep up with it. You just letting it happen now. Because Esau already got this shit already ready. You know what I'm saying? So he's letting this be coming to a rolling boil. Because he's ready to trap everybody up. But let's get to it, man. And that's why we got to have faith in this thing and trust in YAHAWASHI. That's all I wanted to say is before we start up. We got to have faith and trust in YAHAWASHI. Those who are putting a good fight of faith, we on that right side, and we got a chance to be covered with the blood of the Lamb, Because at the end of the day, Esau about to this shit, we at the end of this thing, man. He's allowing a lot of things to come down this pipe. And that's going to cause people to choose a side. He knows everybody just through this algorithm, what time you on, where to send you, where to ship you to, how many UBIs, universal basic income points you get based off your YouTube usage. You know, how you went, when you went back and forth, how you spent your day.
Crazy.
You know, you putting up too much carbon emission. Your Wi-Fi usage is dangerous. Yeah, like, cause you got a whole body. Oh, you drive around, you dangerous. If you don't run and read books, it's over with for you. You know what I'm saying? And then that's only, you know, like, oh, you bought books, you dangerous. You gotta have some kind of hand-me-down system to where you just, you know, but you don't live like that.
Right.
Because the poor is gonna have to, they're gonna be feeding Jake cricket bars, man. Watch. Protein bars. Jake gonna be fighting over. We were watching Eli, man. Jake going crazy over little shit, man. But we go ahead.
And that's what he said in that movie. She asked him how was the old world, and he said, what people kill for now, they threw away then, you know. And that's exactly that, because as you were saying that, I'm just thinking about, like, far as everything that's going on, that's why this administration is putting that squeeze on the people to, you know what I'm saying, you're getting that pressure put on you, and it's just overbearing, and then they just come in with a solution to make your life back to quote-unquote normal or easier than it is, you know, because, like, a lot of people got a good point with taking, you know, or minimizing the food stamps in November when a lot of people going to be, and during the holiday times period, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of time, man, before it boils over, you know, and it has to happen because it's written.
And I want to show you how badly this church has been absolutely desecrated by the Israeli forces. You can see here that there's a bunch of graffiti on the wall, but I think actually that's probably the least offensive thing that we have seen in this church.
Tucker Carlson explains how Christians are physically and verbally abused in Israel and occupied Palestine.
Free are Christians to practice Christianity in Israel?
Do you know that evangelicals as churches are not officially recognized in Israel?
Not recognized by the government?
By the way, evangelical Christianity is not officially recognized as a denomination in the state of Israel. The biggest problem Christians are facing.
So this the thing is, in the land of Israel, which you, as like vocab in itself, he'll admit that, you know, he calls it, what's that word again?
Prosecution of war.
Yeah, prosecution of war. I keep forgetting it, but it's pretty much them, you know, prosecuting the war. That's how they're judging the situation. But there's a statement that was said, like, how are you gonna give judgment in a land that wasn't yours? And, you know, like, them people let you in that land. So how you gonna prosecute them? You know? How you gonna defend yourself where you don't belong? You know?
I can't break into somebody's house and say self-defense.
Yeah.
You know, like, no, you entered without being invited.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you broke into somebody's house and then they defending their house against you, but then you come down on them and go crazy on them, and you're like, well, he tried to do something.
No, you're going to the law and saying, hey, you're breaking, you're stealing. You know, you broke into my house, and then I was on vacation. You come there and you squatting it.
Yeah.
And then I say, well, fuck it, I'm about to take my stuff, and then you report me for stealing.
Like what? Like, how can you do that, bro? Like,
and that's so. How can you prosecute anybody for war when you're the one that's being offensive? You're the one that's taking the land up. Because that's all this is. That's all that bombing, and that is nothing but a demolition. So you can rebuild your spot. And they don't care if they definitely don't. They blowing the blowing up of churches is damn near strategic. We're gonna get that. There ain't gonna no churches up in Israel. They're telling you that there ain't no Christian evangelicalism. Pretty much ain't no accepting. So let's get that where because this is what vocab, he won't talk all that stuff, but in 1 John when it says that you can't, there's no getting to the Father except through the Son. You know, it's all through, but let me feel me. getting through the Father except through the Son. You know what I'm saying? But you could speak on it for a bit, brother.
But yeah, just just overall, sitting at this point and just got all these things going on, as the brother said, because I just showed the brothers on videos, and the land that was there before opposed to what it looked like now is just barren, man. And as far as them being accused of it, the UN wasn't even recognizing it at first, and then just as a recent, they like, oh, well, maybe it is, the G word. We gotta say what we say on here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that they are doing that. But it's like, well, damn, like the whole world been on that already. But this is what happened. They're getting to the point where they're planning what they want to do, and they're trying to justify it. But we're in the time of Isaiah 47, where the Lord has revealed them and revealed their ways, and He's showing who the son of perdition is. So the world is not buying it anymore.
Yeah, the end is manifest.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. But 1 John 5:1.
This is 1 John chapter 5, verse 1. Whosoever believeth that YAHAWASHI is the Hamashiach is born of the Most High, and everyone that loveth him that begat loveth him also that is begotten of him. By this we know that we love the children of the Most High, when we love the Most High and keep his commandments. For this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
Yeah, so you can't get around it. You gotta go through the Lord. You gotta keep the laws as to your best abilities, and through his grace, through his blood, that he makes us whole. All right, but you can't get around the fact that if you're saying as vocab, because y'all believe in, the white one. You know what I'm saying? Y'all believe in him and what he represents, and that means he takes on everybody, unless you deny him. Because y'all go through and these so-called JEOOs, they deny the Christ, the Savior. They openly deny him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They say what happened was their side of the story is like they're maintaining the side of the story of the people that got them killed. Mm-hmm. They're maintaining that side. That's if it's all about getting anybody saved under vocab's direction, that'll be paramount to changing. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, maybe we're getting people out of the churches, but these people don't even believe in the Messiah.
Crazy.
They see him as just a prophet, that what happened to him was supposed to happen to him. But let's get to this video.
Is in East Jerusalem, they are constantly targeted by radical groups, radical Jewish groups. Let's be clear. Some churches, there was an attempt to burn them, and Christian clergy being spit at by these groups. They write very offensive slogans on the wall. There's strong incitements against Christians, especially in the old city of Jerusalem.
Israel has been bombing Christian churches in occupied Palestine for decades. Gaza is one example among literally hundreds. Take the Palestinian West Bank village of Kefer Barim, for example, where Israeli terrorists forcibly expelled its 2,000 Christian residents in 1948. But 5 years later, when the Israeli Supreme Court ordered the residents be returned to their village, the Israeli military shunned the country's highest court by bombing the Christian village in September 1953.
The Air Force bombed Batum before the villagers could get there.
So this kind of information has been going on, but through the unicorn, people are getting the access to this information. Even in this video, he's making a collage of messed up things that Israel did in relationship to Christianity, and is tugging at the white Christian nationalists, because they grabbed onto that. These are people that's been living like this, and then y'all pulled at that angle, and y'all got them. But then they're hearing, they believe in Jesus and this and this and that, and then these guys is like, wait, don't y'all know that they believe this? And America's just funding them. And y'all saying this is America, Christianity first country. It's not adding up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the wires are being crossed because at the end of the day, the people that's being tricked and dubbed like into this white Christian nationalist idea don't realize that America's been working for, you know, the rich elite, which all of them come from, you know, through the RAWCHAA family for sure comes through there. All right, the rich banking families, you know, that sits on top, you know. We can get back to it.
Alarmed by the sound of bombs, they scrambled hysterically up a high hill on the outskirts of Jish and watched as their homes were destroyed.
There was a sense of indignation, of disgust, of so many questions. Why? How come? There was even a question of, are we guilty? What have we done to deserve that? Yeah.
اللي بتطل على البلد كانت ساعة سوداء. كانت ساعة سوداء لما قعدوا فجروا البيوت مشان يقطعونا الأمل ما نرجعش. قلنا لهم يا عمي مش ممكن. احنا بدناش البيوت، بدنا بس الأرض نحط خيام ونسكن بس نضل نرد على البلد.
That's the thing, people
Israeli-
like we don't consider that people actually been through this. People actually, this should be actually happening to people, and we just be trying to make it what it's not. No, that ain't happen like that. People actually lost their families and had to watch a bomb just knock everybody out. And we talking about Osama was up in there and shit. And it like, man, people don't hit none of that, bro. Like my auntie, my aunt, my uncle, my mama, my sister, all of them was up in there. And they was not around. We ain't heard nothing about none of that. Yeah, you talk, nah, but really they just trying to expand that land, renovating. They about to build a nice little city. You go ahead, brother.
Attacks against Christians in the occupied West Bank continues today, a fact that has not escaped the attention of Joe Rogan, who became a very influential figure in the MAGA world after endorsing Trump for president
another
in the
warlock.
last.
That's the thing. These niggas is warlocks, man. Stand out that enchantment. As sorcerers, they're weird in a multitude. You know, so you got this nigga, you got Charleston's, you got the NBA niggas, you got the red table talk. You got all kind of warlocks that got energies on them, and then you got the entertainers, the athletes. You know, got everybody bugged out, man. Can't go. It's gonna be hard to hurl these niggas up into what direction. You didn't. You got all these niggas walking around that you gonna try to. That's why they gotta chip everybody. Cause I'm about to round everybody up. You know, I'm gonna create an avenue to where everybody, you can't buy and sell, say he that had the mark, man. You're gonna have to take this mark in order to get underneath this wagon. Cause if you do, I don't gotta keep track of you. You know, I'm gonna track your carbon footprint. You could be what you want. Just don't be a so-called destruction to society. You know, we judge that if you do this every day and do this every day, if you don't do 5 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, you don't gotta read 2 Dr. Seuss books, you gotta at least do 2 Dr. Seuss books a week on Kindle, just to prove you could. Bro, I'm just joking, but it'll be to that point that they will require things of their nature for you to do every day.
Yeah,
you can't eat what you want because that'll affect a certain carbon footprint. You can't be on the internet, you know, gaming, streaming, you know, a movie. You like to binge watch. Ain't no binge watching. If you binge watch, you jumping your carbon footprint up there. Now you can't go to the club and have this drink. Your ass gotta drink the on a Palmer and shit. You gotta do that because you can't afford. You know, it's like damn. You know, so it's gonna regulate you how you should and shouldn't live. You know, like you can see it now. It's getting there. China's doing it. Okay, your kids got to go to school. All right, just like they took these snaps away. You know, they might give it back. I'm sure they're gonna give it back. I think this is just a tease, but they're showing that when we do it, this is gonna be the idea. They'll give it back to you and tell them, all right, so we don't have this happen. Let's talk about this. What about we just have everybody get this UBI thing?
A new system,
a new system. You know, because this system is failing. It's failing us, which it's not. You know, but that's what they're pushing. They want everybody to believe that.
And people gonna be fiending for that new system when they see how much they in need when they take the old one away.
Yeah, that threat of taking them stamps away gonna get all the poor people in line. There's the business owners that are gonna suffer, that are suffering. You know, to have them continually be used. You know, from restaurants to whatever, you're guaranteed a certain amount of money based off the universal basic income. You know, so whoever the best or got the connection, that you can see it. I'm not sitting there saying that that's going to happen, step for step, but there's going to be a society that's going to be connected to the beast. You know, every restaurant is going to have these devices in them. Every restaurant that's going to be able to survive, they're killing these restaurants right now. And they're going to have like a Walmart. A Walmart is a part of the system. It's going to sell everything that, when it's wintertime and summertime, you're looking like, man, my son ain't wearing this. Yeah, you want to go there, you got to go on Amazon. Like, every store is going to be like, you're going to wear this.
Oh, yeah.
This is what your kids should wear. You're going to have no choice. This is what y'all should eat. You know, then it's gonna corner in to where you might not even be able to go out there and eat that real food. Jay gonna be eating them cricket bars.
It's your only option.
Yeah, seasoned hickory smoked cricket bars.
And Chipotle lime cricket bars.
Chipotle lime, Yeah.
Smoking soup.
But hey, we go ahead, man. I digress.
Election. Rogan recently hosted former CIA counterterrorism official John Kirikow, who explained how Jewish Americans are stealing homes from Palestinian Christians.
Gaza or the West Bank. I mean, we're not talking about the West Bank.
It's a land grab, man.
We're
not only is it a land grab, but it's a resource grab. They're trying to get that Gaza Strip, man. There's a lot up in there.
Just 2 weeks ago, a Christian village ceased to exist because settlers from New Jersey took all their houses. What happens next in the West Bank?
From New Jersey?
Yeah, there are a lot of synagogues in New York, New Jersey, Toronto.
I don't like watching this guy no more, but for the guests, they probably, but it's like he plays with it. You don't know if it's you don't know what's real with him nowadays. But he'll have somebody on there saying some shit. But yeah, you go ahead, brother.
So they have these things called real estate seminars, where you can put your name on a list, and then they call you and say, hey, house just opened up over here in this Arab village that's not Arab anymore. Come and take your house. And 2 weeks ago, the village that the Israelis cleared out was one of the last remaining Christian villages.
Israel isn't stupid.
Yeah, so,
it can read the writing.
Yeah, these people that don't consider the Lord the Savior and knocking out Christian villages is not the primary reason that vocab should get up and address anything. He should admit this because it's the prosecution of war. And that's just the wording we use to act like nothing's happening. But that's how the forked tongue works. Okay, that's how his tongue works, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You go ahead, brother.
So Micah chapter 2 verse 1, it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
Yeah, so people like vocab, they have an agenda, and that's what we're really addressing, because nobody's that silly or stupid to have a real ambition towards what they believe in and just gonna blatantly ignore that happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of delusion there. There's something that is in pretense. It's not honest.
Yeah.
Because if you're all about people coming back to the Lord, they're in opposition 2 times. The most major offensive way, which is not believing him at all, and not believing that his blood, through his blood we get salvation. You know, it don't matter who, but according to you, vocab and guys like, you know, you regular Christians out there, it don't matter to y'all if you believe on his name, but they don't at all. So that's a mega strike right there. And then on top of that, they they attack and treat them, and they openly said they're treating them like they was treating the ancient Christians, man, persecuting them,
man,
chasing them down. I don't mess with them, but GMS is the problem. Black Hebrew Israelites is the problem. We get the hell out of here. We are the problem, because we're spiritually, we're actually, you know, cutting and laying a battle axe at the lies.
Okay.
You know, you go ahead, brother.
Proverbs chapter 17, verse 15, it says, "He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to the Lord."
Yeah, and Esau is definitely an abomination, because he's justified the wicked. Well, he is the wicked, justifying himself. You know, and he condemned the people doing the right thing. Even if you have a country that's really trying to like build up through happiness and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll bomb the fuck out of them. All the muscles saying, like, if y'all don't fight for it, I don't want to hear nothing about it. Because that's the way we want everybody to believe, that you gotta hurt people to get something. You know what I'm saying? That's what they believe. Like, you gotta live through tyranny and terror. You know, like, even though we're gonna rule with a staff of iron, and through YAHAWASHI is gonna rule with an iron rod, and that's for busting people in the head. But once the world get in order, it ain't gonna be to where you're gonna get misjudged. You know, it's gonna, whoever get busted in the head deserves to get busted in the head, not because of what nation you are. It's about if you're keeping these laws or not. Now, the nation, there's gonna be a nation that's gonna be the laws written in their inward parts, to where they're gonna be able to establish the laws perfectly. You know, but the rest of y'all, Jake gonna have to be getting y'all lined up, but ain't gonna be on no, I like him better because he's just coming to work on time and don't do shit. You know, it's like, nah, you're supposed to do everything in sincerity. You ain't treat your neighbor like what? You ain't honor the what? You know what I'm saying? And everything's gonna be set up to where it's gonna be able to be done. You know, it's gonna be understandable. You're gonna have judges, righteous judges that don't rest judgment. Babylon rests judgment. You know what I'm saying? This right here, people are confused because they're playing like they're saviors over here, then they're playing like they're Christian nationalists. It's saying like vocab. He's playing like he's fighting for the Lord, but these people are fighting clearly against that. You know, and he had, we know. These guys are plants. Okay, controlled opposition. Controlled. What's the other this opposition? Whatever you know what I'm saying. Motherfuckers that go with it. You know, and motherfuckers that go against it. They're both controlled. You know, from the right wingers to the so-called left wingers to the hippies. You know, they even got some of these prophets compromised, man. But you go ahead.
Back in Micah chapter 2 and verse 2, it says, "And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage." You know, and this is speaking of the wicked. And this is exactly what they're doing. You know, they're showing the clips of it right here. You know, and they'll use the guise of saying, you know, we're doing this because this land belongs to us biblically, it's promised to us. you know, we're doing this in God's name, but it's all for they selfish you know, things that they want. You know, it's all for their greed, you know, and their agenda at the end of the day, you know. But that's it to that.
Kind of. Now you go ahead, brother. For the rest of the John.
Call you and say, hey, house just opened up over here in this Arab village that's not Arab anymore. Come and take your house. And 2 weeks ago, the village that the Israelis cleared out was one of the last remaining Christian villages.
Israel isn't stupid. It can read the writing on the wall. It knows its troubles have only just begun.
For Israel, internationally has collapsed, and the worst is yet to come. The tsunami is approaching. It's not behind us. When journalists are allowed into Gaza, and we witness up close something that which has not happened sufficiently, the scope of the devastation. Gaza will look like Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Dresden, and a lunar landscape. That means that the collapse of support for Israel, the major collapse, may be ahead of us.
Declining support from American Christians means not only declining financial and military assistance, but also, eventually, sanctions. A turn of course that will eventually and inevitably kill the entire Zionist colonial enterprise, which is why Israel
is going to be manifest, man, and what's manifesting that, who is really pulling the strings to everything. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful thing right now, you know, because everybody's going to see when America, so-called the U.S., okay, the daughter of Babylon, has to make a decision. Is it you going to go with these dudes, because they're clearly wrong, or are you going to help us out? And they're going to turn this and help them out. You're going to say, oh, but it's going to be too late. Everybody lock your ass up. Go your booth, you go your booth. Pain that, you can't even panic and have, you can just go, you can say, it's all that's fucked up. And then it's over with. All right, show's over. Y'all know what time it is now. Y'all know what time it is. I'll be giving y'all money. I'll be doing this. You are going. Wake your ass up to that. Go ahead, wake up. Yeah.
If I could, this is Obadiah chapter 1 verse 2. It says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised." You know, I seen one of the news clippings that said that the left and the right are both, you know, basically united in their disdain toward Israel. It's hard to get them on the same page about something, you know.
They everybody pissed off, man. People are really pissed off because they're physically getting bombed. They've gotten, you know, talked about, manipulated, you know.
That's the thing. They realize they've been manipulated this whole time, bro. Like,
well, really, these bankers, man. You know, like everybody's tired of your shit. Like everybody's tired of the fight against social awareness, physical awareness. You know, it's like this ain't it, bro. Like, yeah, you've had your spill of what you think life should go. And I see where you going with this, but this
we don't like it.
Yeah, they're like, no, it's over with.
Like, nah, this is it, and they like, no, bro, we don't want it to be it, but
this can't be it.
Like,
I get it. Look at the fast cars, but bro, my back hurt. You know, you know, look at the beautiful women, but they're crazy, they're demented.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want what this is, you know, and then you realize in the kingdom, or on the side that you left, it was an ugly transition, but the side that you left when it was at its peak, it was beautiful. You know, the happiness is beautiful. You ain't need all this bullshit. You start realizing, especially people that went from being like our age and young and poor, and then becoming rich. They start mentioning them sitting in front of Nintendo days. Start mentioning putting cold drink cans on your bike and riding with people. They miss that shit. You bug the hell out. All their friends is based off of who jury is this and who got this woman. You don't got no real friends.
Yeah.
And you gotta keep rapping. You gotta keep playing basketball. That's your only place of belonging. You know, you didn't cut off all your real sources, you know, because they're toxic. But that's how Babylon teaches you to destroy the family nucleus. But I don't want to go into that. Let's finish this up, man.
Spending millions of dollars on a propaganda blitz that specifically targets Christians and churches across the entire country. It's spending even more on global Islamophobia. For this reason, we urge you to support our program by a small monthly donation, remembering that YouTube demonetized our channel 4 weeks ago to punish and silence us for exposing Israeli war crimes and tactics, which means our survival is solely dependent upon those who kindly and generously support our team via membership on Patreon. We kindly ask that you please join them in supporting our efforts.
Hey, but can I grab a precept though?
Yeah.
It's Isaiah chapter 29, verse 21, which says that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. And I was laughing because we was talking about before we did the live, like he was begging at the end, but the reason why he plugging all these Patreons and stuff like that is because they cutting his channel off because he's exposing them. And we see that now they buying out TikTok, they're buying out YouTube, they're buying all these different things because all these different platforms is exposing them and they want to shut it down.
They don't want to shut it down, they just want to govern it.
They want to get it.
Because at the end of the day, all this traffic has importance. It's data.
Yeah.
And you get to see what everybody's into.
Yeah.
And you can mold it and shape it into whatever you want at that point.
You got the social, the governance thing.
ESG.
ESG. And when it comes time where everything been digitized, if you want to use those platforms, you're gonna have to pay up, and if you ain't using it properly, you'll be knocked for it.
But even in that, they're molding every part of that. They mess with Chinese culture. And get somebody to make everybody believe over there. They over there fucking with them like they fuck with us. They're taking our people and putting them on TV and getting the dumbest of us to represent us instead of getting the smartest. You might get one here and there that's controlled, but then they'll break out, you know. But for the most part, like these regular entertainers, they get the dumbest. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna get them. And them niggas ain't shit now or then. Where they had some type of, you know, KRS-Ones. You ain't gonna get no voice like that. You gonna get you a little yachty, man. You know, have fun, take these drugs, shut up. Yeah. You know, your drugs your mom got, you know, have her, tell her, take you to a psychiatrist, you get some drugs, you know? Yeah. They tell you how to do it.
These rappers, they be putting as the face for J culture. They don't be taking no stance on nothing. They don't got no opinions on nothing.
They have no opinions on nothing. They, you know, somebody mentioned something about Kanye to Kai Cenat, and he was like, man, don't bring that over here.
That's crazy.
Like, they're told what to talk about, what not to talk about. Again, every culture has its plants by these people and is being molded and shaped. So it's not like it's one side against another. They have everybody in every facet, whether you're in a country, you're a redneck, they got a redneck representative, they got a hood representative, you know, you got I can't say the hood representative, but it's the black representative, because the hood representative is so easy to find. It's niggas all over. That's the whole, whoever's the head of that, NBA young boy.
Sexy Red.
Yeah, the two, look at them, the two of them. They're the epitome of every warlock, every bad nigga you ever see.
They some low-level warlocks, though. They
They look low-level. That's the good ones.
That's the good ones.
That's the powerful ones.
God.
It look like they ain't shit. That motherfucker, Sexy Red, have your ass in a booty club with 18 bitches.
Yeah, they do got a large-ass following, too. They doing their job.
Turns out they're all men. It's like, yeah, Yeah, say she raised a demon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all these women. Look at the women that they're plastering out for our people, because we have to remain docile. But it's all people that are coming to realize it's all through the guys that he's talking about. But not really. The reason this is becoming a big deal because Esau is becoming upset and he's becoming fucked with. So he's trying to speak his mind. You know, this is something that's been going on to people for years. It's just now it's happening to your Edomite Christians, Edomite Christian nationalists. You know, your white Christian nationalists. You know, I had a video where the chick was saying she got abused, and then America got up and said, "Yeah, we got our hostages back. We heard they treated them well. Everything." So I'd be mad if I got done dirty in there. And you would say that, nah, put my name out there, except for him.
Man,
they got done dirty. Like,
they getting hostages back with their eyes plucked out, broken arms. They said that they got somebody back where they broke his arm 5 times. So they broke his arm and let it heal. Then they broke it again and let it heal, and they did that 5 times over. What you mean we got our hostages back in good in good case? Like, nigga, what? That is torture.
That is torture, man. That's yeah, they was, and then they're not allowing them type of people, if they're alive, to say anything. None of the journalists, you know, but people, all this is coming through the unicorn, and people are realizing like, yo, something is up with these people. All right, that's fine. But America, why is you so, why you got such a hard on with defending these dudes? You know, because now Esau's being affected. All right, did your social backbones being affected? They can't say anything. They can't voice anything to the least of the flock. The working class can't say anything. They're getting things taken away. The farmers and the mom and pop businesses. You know, they're getting things taken away by them, and you can't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? And they're behind all of this, and they had everybody in disarray. But now everybody's coming like. It's almost like lining them up for a theme park entrance. You know, it starts off wide with the parking lot, and then as you get to the gate, it condenses. They're being herded. Mm-hmm. There we go. They're being herded.
That's MOTB. I always say funnel. That's the word for they being herded to it. Yeah.
Everybody's being herded to the MOTB, and it all sounds like this fear factor thing, but it isn't. What it is that we see it and we're looking for it. Mm-hmm. All right, you can see it being herded because they're making everybody universal with you know, socializing. You can be what you want, do anything you want. You know what I'm saying? And then they're determining. They already got based off of what you learn and how, at what rate, what type of person you are going to be worth of to society, which is BS because boys and girls act different. Then there's active boys, active girls, sit around boys, sit around girls. There's people that are treasurers, there's people that are athletes. Mm-hmm. And if you go into the whole education system, they just use that to make sure that you're not, you don't create nothing. Because them type of people cause resistance. People that have faith cause resistance. They don't want you to have faith. They want you to understand what the Lord means, but there's no definition to serving Him. So they want you in this magic place to getting your ass whooped.
So they could hurt you easier.
Yeah. Like, I just do you wrong, and your God says let it happen, because in heaven you'll be forgiven. It's like, nah, He says something. This is not gonna happen forever. What you're doing now, and this is gonna stop. Not that I take it and lay down until. And then I go to heaven because I did that. No, the Lord ain't that merciless to let somebody live this life so lavishly and not have to fess up for it, steal and murder and rob and kill people. No, the Lord's gonna judge them people, man, and that life is gonna change for people on planet Earth, all across the 4 corners of the earth. All right. Let's get that precept that says when a righteous rule.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so that's that simple, you know. And the people are mourning right now, everywhere. Okay? You got people in Africa, West Africa, that are bucking up against the French. You know, they're bucking up for reasons that we fully don't understand. We understand that it's behind gold and politics, but they didn't understand the business and who has the business and the names that they always dealing with and the family that they always have to deal with. They understand like inner things. I.e., they know they resisting them JEOOs. You know what I'm saying? Just like going over there to what we're speaking of Argentina, you know, how old girl, she was what's that, Mexico, huh?
What's that?
Was it Mexico or Argentina? It's the Jewish.
Oh, in Mexico.
Mexico, yeah. The
president.
Yep. And they're trying to get Argentina. I think they got Argentina underneath their pocket. They're trying to get Venezuela, but Venezuela is rocking with Cuba and Russia. And that's why they going so hard on them, you know. Even the guy saying like, y'all shooting on boats. Y'all ain't see what kind of boats they was. Nobody's there to identify anything.
Yeah.
Y'all can just, like, who said them boats are big enough to make it from Venezuela to America? Like, who? Like, where are y'all getting this information from? You know what I'm saying? Like who? They're not even known for producing fentanyl. Like, what is this? What is this saying? You know? But once you go and research it, it makes sense. Not saying that it's the gospel truth. It could be them doing something, but it could be just two fishermen just to somebody for a speedboat, boy, hit you, boom, and you can't do nothing. Your news will never make it to America. We just sitting here listening to that. You go ahead, brother.
No, I was into. Oh, okay.
You got something?
No, I had none.
Good. So, yeah, man. It's a whole lot to it. It's a whole lot of propaganda, but it was the beautiful thing is like you got that to set the Egyptian against the Egyptian. We'll end it with that, you know, because it's causing a lot of confusion in America, you know.
This is Isaiah 19:2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom.
Okay. You know, and that's hey, kingdom is against kingdom. That's the Edomites against the Edomites as well, man. You know, because this whole Babylonian way is coming to the point that a lot of these people are seeing that they're not. Who's getting the size of the slice of the pie? And they're starting to realize it's just the rich elite that's about to get all of it, you know. And everybody's it's gonna be countries that's factories. They want certain countries to be factories, and they want certain countries to be the minerals, you know. And the minerals gonna get the worst of it, and the factory's gonna get the. It's just like the working class, the people that make the food, the people that deliver the food. Them people get paid different, you know. I forget which movie I was watching that was like that.
You said that. What you said?
The Triangle of Sadness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That movie was like that, man. Real good movie. It shows the hierarchy of classes, and that's how they want the world to be. You know, a hierarchy of classes. Do you teach? Are you a musician? You're not a singer, dance like you think it's a game. Nah, if you're not dribble no ball, you can't do nothing. Go sit your ass down and forget what you gotta do. I don't know. They're gonna give you something dumb. Your ass do some shit from some cricket bars.
Chipotle lime cricket bars.
Yeah, silly. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. You know, it's just a bunch of things going on right now. It's really endless to say, you know, because they're doing this propaganda. They're also doing, you know, the warfare of the warlocks towards the people as well. But the fact that Esau is fed up with it is a beautiful thing, you know. And it's exposing people like Vocab, because he's acting like this is not happening. And this is very loud. So, you know, to these coons, they're getting exposed. The end is being manifest, man. You know. With that being said, give our praise to YAHAWAH,
BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH.
Double honor to our apostles who are elders who are well. Blessed salutations to you, brothers out there teaching and doing truth, sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.
We gotta get that.
Top left.